Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. From the profound to the absurd, from the mundane to the extraordinary, we delve into the depths of human curiosity and embrace the sheer unpredictability of life. This is the podcast where anything and everything takes center stage. Each episode is a thrilling adventure into the unknown as we bring you fascinating discussions, captivating stories, and mind-bending perspectives as we embark on a quest for knowledge, enlightenment, and endless entertainment. Expect the unexpected, for here there are no boundaries and no limitations. Open your mind, expand your horizons, and get ready to be captivated by the infinite possibilities that await. So whether you're a seeker of knowledge, a lover of stories, or simply someone who craves the thrill of the unknown, this podcast is tailor-made just for you. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Good morning, fam bam, or evening, if you are listening to this in the evening. I have some juicy info for you guys, and boy, oh boy, do I have some incredible episodes lined up for you. And I'm not even going to say anything else because I don't want to give it away. But anyways, okay, so today I decided that I'm going to start this episode off by pulling a tarot card. And I just pulled one. Let's see here. And it is Tarot Guidance. The tarot represents a life quest, and receiving this card lets you know you are being called to your own quest. It's time to leave the comfort of your everyday life and do the unexpected. Don't play it safe. Instead, take up your sword and swashbuckle onward, daring to explore every avenue. But don't be fooled along the way, for appearances can be deceptive. Instead, trust in the guidance of the tarot, which will map possible pathways for your personal growth and insight and will point you towards your very own holy grail. Once armed with this information, go seek adventure. You will discover a you that you didn't imagine existed. It is time to leave your comfort zone. Oh my goodness, anytime I pull a card, it resonates with me so hard. And the fact that I pulled that card with what I have going on in my life right now, I actually have some exciting news. I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with the online TV reality show for entrepreneurs called The Blocks, BLOX. They've aired like over 10 seasons now, I think. But anyways, so I think it was like a week and a half ago, my Instagram popped up for, apply to be on the show. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? Not thinking anything of it, didn't really know. I've just really been trying to put myself out there lately and explore all avenues. So I applied and did the application process. And then I got an email saying, hey, we're going to send you a link for a Zoom call interview. So I did that. And then I had a follow-up appointment with a casting director, one-on-one for 45 minutes. And that went so well. I met this amazing, beautiful soul. His name is Chris. And he pretty much was just like, girl, you got this in the bag. This show is exactly for people like you, but still wait for the official confirmation because it still has to go through other judges and whatnot. So a couple days, I think it was 2 days ago, or maybe it was even yesterday morning. I don't know. I've lost track of time, but I got the official text. I got accepted. So I will be flying to Oklahoma in May. And yeah, I will be on the blocks. It's a very competitive, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's competitive and it's like a boot camp. So the knowledge that I'm going to receive from this is going to be so exciting. However, terrifying at the same time, because as those of you who know me know my fear with the camera. And so there's going to be cameras on us, all day, every day. And so, yeah, I'm going to definitely have to work through that these next couple months to prepare for that. But yeah, so you'll have to check out. I will definitely do a post and let you know the details when I know more. And all the good stuff. So, yeah, and relating to the tarot cards, step out your comfort zone, explore all avenues. It just totally resonate with me. But, anyways, okay, so to get into today's episode, which is a bonus episode, I have had multiple people reach out to me asking me, when's the next episode? And I know bi-weekly is lengthy as far as waiting for the next one. I just didn't want to take on too much because with running the business and, still having a personal life and all the things, but decided I still want to just throw in some bonus episodes because I love recording so much and I'm booking up my calendar with guest speakers. And yeah, I just have some really amazing people coming on and some incredible topics that we will be talking about. So I'm super excited for that. But today's episode, I wanted to go over the energies of this full moon in Gemini that we just had. And then we just entered Mercury retrogrades. I had all this planned for my last episode, but I'm going to use some of it for today. This full moon was in the free-spirited sign of Gemini. Gemini is curious, it's enthusiastic, it's fun, it's playful. And at its core, Gemini is all about the child within. And so this full moon we just had was meant to illuminate where you're at and being in touch with that inner child. And the beauty of childhood is that we're innocent. We have this like blank slate. There's no ego yet, right? And your eyes are just wide open and the world is exciting and curious and you're not fearful and everything is an opportunity and a possibility. You're just a beautiful soul. And then this harsh world beats us down. We start to become judgmental and critical, fearful, angry, and slowly that innocence is eroded. And so this full moon was really asking us, have you lost the inner child and this love that the child brings into this life? So I would start asking yourself, where have you lost that joyful, playful side? And where have we made choices based on the fear of the environment of this world? It's about trying to balance it out and bring you back to your heart and make choices from a pure place versus your ego. What kind of world do you want to live in? Is it going to be based in fear and aggression and destruction? Or is it going to be a place of love and openness and possibilities, right? Excuse me. I'm still getting over my cold, so bear with me. I may be a little sniffly and cough a few times. But anyways, so there's this clash still going on in the background of the old system and the old way of doing things in the new, the top down versus the ground up, right? Old structures are being broken down, and this is within us as well as collectively what we're seeing happening in the world. And all of this was highlighted from this full moon in Gemini. And I talked a little bit, or I forget if it was with Alex and Maxwell or just Alex, I forget, but it was in a previous episode we talked about this, and Dolores Cannon has an amazing book on, and a lot of more people are talking about the old earth crumbling in order to build the new. So definitely check out the previous episodes because we went into that a little bit. But anyways, during this time right now, it's likely that things are going to be revealed that you weren't aware of before. There's also this possibility that what has been revealed and you are aware of becomes something you must confront during this time. So anything that's shoved deep down is gonna come to the surface. It's forcing you to deal with the shit that you don't want to deal with necessarily. November was an intense month. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I know I had some pretty intense stuff going on, and both in the world and around us. And also Uranus, and some people may follow exactly what I'm saying, and if you're not super into astrology, that's okay. Just take what resonates. I'm just going over the energy of this full moon we just had and going into the energies that are going on right now and what to expect with the rest of 2023. So Uranus, which is about change, and Jupiter, which is about expansion and luck, have been aspecting the sun and moon and Mars, and the energies of Pluto are still in effect. Meaning the background energy of Pluto, which is about death and rebirth, again, the old crumbling to build the new, is ripping away what isn't serving us anymore. It's being stripped away. So rational situations might have come up and this energy is being played out. And often this process can feel really uncomfortable. I have been there several times. I still go through it. It's just part of the human experience. So, yeah, if you felt exhausted and tired over the past couple weeks and even months, that's normal. That is the energy in the collective right now. And right now, everything is sped up. It's almost like our bodies need a moment to catch up and ground because the world is moving so fast. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed or confused, just know that it's normal. You're not alone. This is the universe moving, shaking shit up so you can find your truth, and you have to make a choice and be honest with yourself and confront these things. But the influence will fade away by the end of 2023. So in this way, this is like the final push towards transformation. It's like a breaking point. It's an acceleration of moving into a new paradigm. And some things must be let go in order for new things to come in, right? You have to clear space in order to open up space for new things. I like to think of it as a parked garage. You have your garage and you park your car in it, right? You have to remove a car out in order to get the new one in. What needs removed out of your life right now? Start going through people, situations, items, all of the above. However, I tend to get sidetracked a lot because I'm super passionate about this stuff. So I will go down all these different paths, but gonna get back to where I was going with that. So Neptune will also resume in forward motion. So things are starting to move at a faster pace now. And what this means is the choices that you've made recently and are making now will likely create your reality, like our reality in the coming months and even years. This is a very crucial time right now and that's why we just entered Mercury retrograde too. And for those of you who don't know anything about the retrogrades, when a planet goes retrograde, it means it's going backwards. So it's time to slow down and revisit, revise, redo. And depending on what planet, and Mercury is the planet of communication, really pay attention to the way you communicate with others. And are you going to choose faith or fear? Expansion or contraction? Co-creation or victimhood? Are you able to acknowledge and accept and let it move you to the next level, or are you avoiding the truth and staying stuck in old patterns? Gemini can turn things on its head, and even though it's playful and fun, like Scorpio can be rebellious. It doesn't care how things should be done. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's flexible, and it's not attached to being a certain kind of rebel. And I know all about Scorpio energy because my Venus is in Scorpio, and Scorpio craves depth, and Venus is the planet of love. And so that's why in my relationships and friendships, all of the above, I crave depth. I like to dig in, and I want to know who you are, how you operate, and I just crave that. Stimulate my mind, tell me more, and give me all the good stuff. But it's also the chameleon. It's the actor, it's the comedian, and loves information. Gemini's all about the mind. It's curious. It's gathering and analyzing and sharing, and it can be very social and communicative. But in the lighthearted, rapid fire way, it's a social butterfly and the life of the party, and its energy doesn't like staying in one place too long. Gemini energy has an important function, and that is to shift our perspective wherever we're feeling stuck and see a different point of view. Gemini's job is to encourage the free flow of information. It's not afraid of learning everything and seeing every side of a situation and learning about every perspective. And I highly encourage people to always be open-minded and don't just think your way is the right way. Hear other people out and get their point of view, because knowledge is power. But okay, so the full moon in Gemini that we just had was shining a light on places where you've been stuck, or you've been lingering too long, or you're overly attached to something or an idea or a thought that's no longer working for you. It was all about trying to show you the alternate points of view and paths that you could be taking, ways you can step out of your routine, your comfort zone, leaving something behind, or let go of control and enter the unknown. And stepping out of your comfort zone and entering the unknown is fucking terrifying. But I promise you, that is where the magic is. The growth, I just highly encourage you to always do what scares you. Like I've said in previous episodes, what you resist persists. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's the next level. That's like next level shit right there. Scorpio is a water sign, and it's all about emotions, and it's not afraid of going deep, which can feel very heavy at times. And Gemini is an air sign, and it wants to lighten things up. It wants to keep things moving rather than dwell on things. And as an air sign, it's more about thoughts and intellect rather than emotions. Gemini, again, like I said earlier, is about the inner child. And so many of us have lost touch with that joyful, playful side of ourselves. And the world can be freaking heavy and dark. And this kind of energy is pure. It's light. It follows the muse. It does things to feel alive. And just like Scorpio wants to feel alive, but not for any reason like reward or validation or dominance. Gemini is about exploration without any particular goal or expectation. It just wants to have fun. And that's another thing too. I've asked a couple people lately, like, what really lights you up? What do you do for fun? And they couldn't answer me. And that made me sad. I'm like, more people need to explore that more. And people get so caught up in work and goals and all that, and I'm guilty of it too, but it's so important to bring, that playful side in and just check out and act like a kid again. And yeah, I love it. So during this full moon that we just had, you can finally feel yourself like starting to come out of resolving those things, hopefully. And if you weren't doing that work, I'm just preparing you, like, get prepared. Like, this shit is gonna come to the surface eventually. So my advice is I'd rather want to approach it on my own than being forced to. It's like you blow up a balloon and you stick it underwater, right? You let go and it's gonna freaking just come right back up. It's important to deal with things and not just shove them down. So yeah, Scorpio and Gemini, that is one of the most creative and dynamic combinations of energies, because you're really taking two polar opposites and you're asking them to make sense together, to blend. But at the same time, they have this underlying connection because both are rebels and both love living outside the law and have serious issues with authority. And I can totally relate to that because I've always had a problem with authority. I got in a lot of trouble growing up, but in different ways. So this full moon might have been really intense for a lot of people. And it was this desire to break free from authority in all the ways, both mentally and emotionally. Again, Gemini is light, it's air, it's youthful, it's playful, it's fun. It doesn't want to deal with any kind of mess, and it stays high above and floats around, where Scorpio is the depth that gets in there. The spectrum in between these two is pretty vast, and when you put them together, it's this really juicy combination, right? You're dealing with this kind of mental energy of Gemini that's thinking outside the box, and it loves turning things upside down and looking at things from all different perspectives. And then you got Scorpio, which goes deeply into emotions and feelings and desires. And when they come together, they can often clash. So this energy was very much about applying it to your personal journey, and still is, like currently. I'm just saying, it's more intense, like starts at the full moon and then we're still working with the energy. But yeah, so it's just figuring out like what end of the spectrum are you on? Are you too in the head? Are you overthinking all the time? Are you too caught up in an emotional experience where you take everything personal and you might need to lighten things up? It can also often reveal our shadow side. And by shadow, we mean the parts of us that we keep hidden in the shadow. Think of it as like a closet that you don't want to go into and you keep everything hidden in there. I know some people have that one, closet that they just shove everything in. Think about it that way. And it could even be a pattern of behavior or beliefs that you have. And in a way, it's how we lie to ourselves. And during a full moon, that shadow gets revealed. So even with the fun, lighthearted energy of Gemini, there can be too much of a good thing. And especially during this full moon, it's possible to experience some of the shadows of Gemini. And Gemini is all about freedom and new beginnings and looking at the world with a childlike sense of wonder. But there can be a shadow that avoids responsibility, that remains distracted or makes light of everything as a way to avoid emotion. And again, I am guilty with this too, actively working on it. But this can be a time when you feel overstimulated or unstable or distracted. It has a way of keeping busy or being super social, distracting you from issues that you need to face, right? So are you staying in the head, overthinking things to the point of losing touch with your intuition and avoiding deeper connections? If that came up for you or is currently coming up for you, recognize it, become aware of it, and then have compassion for yourself, because in that moment of awareness, you can transform it. Make that conscious decision not to criticize yourself, not to diminish yourself, but to refocus and empower yourself. We're our own worst critics. We're so hard on ourselves, but really watch how you're communicating to yourself too. Gemini or Mercury is all about communication. That goes for yourself as well. I would say that I don't talk badly to other people, but yeah, I can be very harsh on myself sometimes, and that shit can manifest. So just start paying attention to the way you're talking to yourself and keep an eye on your energy level. And if you're exhausting yourself, then tune into how your body is feeling through breath work or working out, grounding, any of those things, because Gemini can be very detached from the body. So if you find that, just try and come back to yourself and be conscious of whether you're overdoing this experience of being the child where you're not taking any responsibility and you're being immature or flaky. The shadow of Gemini can create chaos and it can be irresponsible. So remember that the Scorpio new moon is about discovering and committing to your deepest truth. So check in with your integrity and what truths you're intended to honor, because that will be amplified, especially right now. Are you distracting yourself to the point of not feeling your feelings, which is so easy to do? Are you so social and free-spirited that you're avoiding intimacy or deeper connections? Are you deepening so much on mental stimulation that you've lost touch with your heart? If so, then this would be the time to balance things out, because the highest expression of Gemini knows that it can't figure everything out. And that's why it's willing to take risks and try something new and be innocent and be the fool. Gemini is opening a door or multiple doors and going through them. It's experiencing the unknown, and it's just letting your intuition kick in. And none of those things are generated by the mind. Gemini is beyond the mind. It doesn't need things to be black and white. And when you get to that place where there's no good or bad or me or them, where nothing is certain, everything is possible. Everything. And all of these cycles, the new, the full moon, it's the universe trying to connect you and have you make your contribution and move along with it. Start with yourself and stand up for what you believe in and be true to you. That is something I actually wanted to talk about too, especially right now with Mercury going retrograde. I've had a couple things come to the surface, and over Thanksgiving, I am not easily triggered. I don't fight with people. I don't allow people to get a reaction out of me. And I literally, not that I've always had a problem speaking my truth. I think I always did speak my truth, and I was shamed for it and told things like, why do you always have to say everything? Not everybody needs to know that. I've always been very authentic and very blunt. I say it how it is. And my family hasn't always operated that way. And I'm not bashing on them by any means, but growing up and still to this day, we don't really talk about emotions. And when something happens, we never resolve conflict. It just gets shoved under the rug and we keep moving forward. Growing up, I learned how to operate that way. And when something would come my way or happen, I would just push it down, be like, I've got this, I'm strong, keep moving forward. You do that so much and you're gonna burst. And that's what happened to me because I just kept shoving things down. And on Thanksgiving, I spoke up for myself and I literally was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't lie. I don't care what people think about me. I will tell you anything, even all my trauma. I want to share that stuff. And my family just operates differently. It's like, we don't talk about that stuff, or why do you want people to know that stuff? And so I had spoke up, like just saying enough is enough. Like, I can't keep up with this. And this does affect me, where I'm sitting here watching one person tell another person this lie or this story. And I'm sitting here, that's a lie. These are all lies. And not that it was like harmful or bad in a really negative way. It was actually harmless, but still, it's, to me, just speak the truth. Who cares? The only reason you're not speaking your truth is because you're afraid of the opinion or what they have to say. And I will never live my life that way. And I want to encourage people, always speak your truth. And if other people aren't receptive of it and don't like it, that's not your problem. It doesn't matter. You can put 20 people in a group and, attend an event, and every single one of those people is going to have a different perspective. They all saw it differently. So why we allow others to change our way of living or doing things, or it's just mind-blowing to me. And so yeah, speak your truth, especially right now. Excuse me. It's also essential to acknowledge the complexity of situations, as they often involve deep-seated emotions, long-standing patterns of communication, and ingrained family dynamics. Choosing to speak your truth and set healthy boundaries, even with your family, is a courageous and affirming act of self-respect. It's important to recognize that everyone has the right to express their feelings and perspectives, and this includes you. And by doing so, you are advocating for your emotional well-being and asserting your autonomy. And it's also worth acknowledging that reactions to these conversations may not always align with your expectations. Like I just said, family members may struggle to accept the changes in dynamics or may react with resistance. And before I keep going with that, I also wanted to share another thing I had heard on a podcast. Freaking love Mel Robbins. Oh my God, love her stuff. And she just did a podcast episode called The Let Them Theory. I highly encourage you to go listen to it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to explain it the way she does. But pretty much just always bring yourself back to let them. If somebody does something and you don't like it, let them. If somebody is just anything, like I can't even think right now because I've got all this podcast info that I want to share. So I wasn't even thinking I was going to go down this road, but getting to that place of not letting others affect us. She said that her kids were going to prom or something, and she was all worked up about, what? Why are they eating tacos on prom? And oh my God, why are they out in the rain? And just giving herself anxiety for all these things that were outside of her control. And her daughter had came up to her and said, Mom, if they want to eat tacos like during prom or be in the rain, let them. Like you're just torturing yourself. And so that's one example. And that's how she came up with the let them theory, because that resonates so hard. And she goes, let them. And she's been using it since. And I have too, ever since I listened to that episode. And oh my God, I worked really hard on triggers. So there's not much that really gets to me. It takes a lot to trigger me or get a reaction out of me. But I still do use that if something starts to arise. I'll just pull myself back and be like, let them. So that was a really good episode. So definitely check that out. But okay, so during these last couple weeks since the full moon, you might have discovered what it is that you truly want to go after in life, or realize where you need to speak up. Where are you living in the shadow because you're giving your power away? What truths are being illuminated, not eliminated, illuminated. Can't speak today. Because in a way, keeping yourself small or living inauthentically can be preventing you from reaching your highest potential. The stuff that we hide from ourselves, that we don't logically day to day know about ourselves, it's all the fear. It's all the things we're afraid of. But those fears are often what dictate our decisions unconsciously, and we don't realize how much control fear has over us. And so, if you took anything away from the Gemini full moon, it's about being fearless. It's about confronting your shadow and the truth of you, because everything that's happening in life is a mirror for you and it's trying to help you move forward. Like I said in my first episode, things aren't ever happening to you, they're happening for you. Get out of victim mentality and look at the blessing that's coming your way. Look at the positive side of the situation. Instantly, when that negative, oh, they did this or whatever, think, okay, what is this teaching me? And what is the blessing in this situation? I guarantee you, 100%, you will find a blessing in every confrontation, any conflict, or all of that. So try it. I like to give you guys these little tips and stuff and like things that have helped me tremendously in my life. And healing is never ending. It's a forever thing, and I love it. Some people fear it. They don't want to even attempt tackling it, but oh my God, it's so rewarding, and you just have a better life and you're a better person, and it's a ripple effect. It just spreads and it's contagious, and it's just super magical. But anyways, okay, so if you can gather up the courage in whatever way you can, it can be a moment of real liberation, and you can shed layers of things that have potentially been holding you back for years. But you're gonna have to be kind to yourself in the process and love and accept whatever it is that you find, whatever it is that comes up. We are all entering a completely new era. And again, the old ways are dying, and that's happening within you as well. And ultimately, the full moon was trying to get you to embrace the Gemini energy of choice. And I've said that too, or no, I don't even know if I've done an episode on choice. I could do a whole episode on choice, but what are you choosing? The choice is always yours. The one thing in this world that nobody can ever take away from you is your choices. Nobody can take that from you. And the intention is to help us rise above and zoom out and come together and create a new paradigm that is beyond right and wrong, good and bad, judgment and criticism. And it all comes back to love and following your heart, because even though Gemini can be an intellectual sign, it loves to process information. So where are you directing your thoughts? Because where you direct your thoughts has the power to change your emotions. And if you're coming from a place of love and gratitude and understanding for yourself and others, that can trigger positive feelings and influence your future action and choices. And in this way, your thoughts create your world and your reality. Everything starts with our thoughts in our mind. So what kind of world do you want to create? Consciousness may be invisible, but it is fundamental to our reality, and it must be anchored to the heart. Love is expansive. Love is how we connect to each other and to something so much greater than ourselves. Right now, use this time to become more conscious of the way your mind works and where you're directing your attention, and then you can make the necessary shifts and choices to live out of your heart's desires. And I am sending you all my love during this time. There's not much left of 2023. I am so fucking pumped and ready for 2024. This last year was very challenging. I'm praying that you guys have the courage to speak up, speak your truth, get comfortable being uncomfortable, be seen and heard, because your voice matters. You matter. Your mess is your message. Speak up. Don't be afraid to, talk about things that are uncomfortable to talk about or fear what other people are going to think. Like, just speak up. And I love you guys so much. I hope by delivering this info, it helps you have the courage to be true to you. And I will see you soon.